Oh, there's Rob.
Hello.
Just in time. I just started. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Digital Crypto Answers. And I'm here joined with Rob from Digital Asset News and James from Invest Answers. How are you guys doing today?
Great.
Awesome. How's the throat, Rob? Bad.
Yeah. I mean, I sound like I'm an octave lower, so that's always nice. But yeah, it's just a little bit. I just sound a little funny. That's all.
No, but you're doing okay. You're feeling okay still.
Yeah, you know. I mean, much better than what I did before. I think I'm just tired. I'm tired, George, from all these gains. That's the problem.
Yeah, there is a lot of games, but it goes both ways. And right now, things are looking again good. You know, we had yesterday Bitcoin pumped up above 48,000. All of a sudden, it just came down a couple thousand points, and then now we're recovering right back up again. So, how do you guys? Well, let's start out with, you know, what we always start out with, the week in review. How did you guys view last week? Any surprises, any standouts or anything?
I'm gonna let James go first for everything. I'm almost in the background just to share little bits of insight.
Yeah, I think at least for me, what was nice to see was, as expected. I shouldn't say that. I sound like a TA guy when I say that, but as predicted. But all the regulation stuff became a bit of a nothing burger, kind of fizzled out. You know, all the hullabaloo for 5 days and then failure. And now it's over at the house. So, you know, as usual, don't make investment decisions based on lawmakers, because it takes so long for everything to go into effect anyway. So it does, if anything, take advantage of it because it's an opportunity to buy on some dips. So that's my big key takeaway. And then some of the names have just really done really well last week. A few standout things, and one exploded today from 43 to 55. But we won't talk about that one. Maybe later.
Solana?
Yeah.
Yes. 24% for the day.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
And they were top 10. I saw your map there says 11. Mm-hmm. They were number 10 on Coin Market Cap.
I don't know. I'm using Live Coin Watch right now. I mean, there's been a few times I've seen their market cap is a little bit different, but I don't know. Solana, according to this, is still way off from Uniswap. So unless there's something else, maybe I don't know. But
yeah,
it's gonna get up there.
There's one other piece of news that just hit the wires a second ago on my feed. Guess who's looking for a crypto product lead?
Walmart.
Yeah. Oh, you guys knew about that? I thought that was brand new. I just hit my wires.
I just tweeted out a little bit ago because I have nothing else to do but stay in bed and be sick. So that came across, and I said I retweeted. I said, let's see how fast Walmart can deny that they're going to be using cryptocurrency just like Amazon did, even though they're both looking for the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, Walmart, I don't even know in the US, when you think about who's number 2 in the digital commerce space, I guess it's supposed to be Walmart, but they're like a very, 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 very distant number 2 compared to Amazon. But it just makes sense if Amazon is going full-blown crypto soon, that Walmart has to follow. And there's been rumors about Walmart buying $2 billion worth of Bitcoin. I mean, that's been circulating for quite some time. Maybe this is going to be revealed all at the same time.
Yeah, wasn't there was some earnings report came out that Intel was holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet?
They bought about $1 million worth of Coinbase stock just as a proxy, but it's very small, but it's a step in the right direction. And I always say Bitcoin is like Pringles. Once you taste one, you can't stop. So they'll buy more.
We all know that's right, and everybody watching is the same way. Once you get into, I always say Bitcoin is like a gateway drug. You know, you first start with that, and then before you know it, you're buying all these crazy coins. And then you got 50 different ones, unless your name is James, who
Yeah,
solid.
I fell into that trap big time. So I was fortunate I could stand by and look for a long time, and then I went in hard on the 22nd of June on the dip. So, and it was incredible. There was stuff that was, 67, 80% off the all-time highs just from a few weeks earlier. So good to sit back and watch. And it gave me time as well to analyze many of them in great detail.
Man, crazy.
Anything to add, Rob? Anything that stood out for you?
For the big breakouts. Solana, I just gotta every time we say Solana, I gotta always thank two people. It's James and Mike the investor. If it wasn't for those two guys, I wouldn't even have thought about it. So thank you again for making my portfolio nice and fat. I appreciate it. And then thank you. And then some big ones from last week. I mean, Cardano's doing pretty great, I think, with the smart contract and everything that's going on. I know. I have to tell you, what's shocking to me is that's not that shocking, but I see a lot of hate on the crypto Twitters, on the Twitterverse for Cardano. No one's really, unless you either love Cardano or you just don't like it whatsoever. But I just, whatever the market wants is what the market gets. That's all I can tell you.
It's surprising that Cardano, because in crypto, there's a lot of buy the rumor, sell the news. And, Charles Hoskinson kind of pulled a Justin Sun where he pre-announced an announcement. And usually when that happens, things do really good until the announcement. But this time around, that wasn't the case. Cardano continued to hold and cross $2 again, and now it's getting back to its previous high. So that's fantastic. Also, I think that's a good indicator that we're still in the bull run, right? The bull market. So this would not be the case if we were not in the bull market. So yeah, I think that stood out. I mean, of course, there was a lot of FUD about broker definition with the senators, but here comes the rescue. IRS coming and saying, no, we're not going to listen to what Congress says. We're going to define brokers ourselves. And kind of, I don't know if it really saved the day, but it kind of got rid of FUD, right? A little bit. For me, I think that's just unlikely ally or hero, but I don't know if that's really the case. But it kind of wiped out the FUD really quick.
No, it sounds about right. There was this New York Times piece where they talked about just how important cryptocurrency was because it held up everything in the Congress, just because of this one portion of the bill. And even though we didn't get what we want because of that one senator, I forgot the guy's name who held everything up. But if it wasn't
Alabama,
for him, that's it, James. And if it wasn't for him, we would have gotten a unanimous decision to get it not overturned, but to the amendment passed. So I mean, look, cryptocurrency was a joke, 4, 5, 6 years ago, and now it held up a bill in the Senate. How far have we come?
How true. Hey, today's the 50th anniversary of the dollar being off the gold standard. You guys have any thoughts about this?
I know James does.
Well, it's funny because people talk about sometimes crypto being fake, but the US dollar is the ultimate in fakeness, where they can press a button and there you go, 100 billion is printed for free. But I think the real sad thing is how people were, for the last 50 years, kind of incentivized to save money. And that technically is it's almost like a Ponzi scheme trick. Because if you look at the average inflation over the last 50 years and being incentivized to save your cash and put in a piggy bank and all that, people were actually forced to lose money over time, especially now with this crazy inflation that's happening that people still dismiss. It is really, really sad. And I still know a lot of people sitting on a lot of cash, and it's just shriveling away. So it is quite remarkable. And people think this 50-year is a tipping point and maybe will accelerate the demise. But it looks like money printing is going to continue on. But it's happening globally. So it's like a level playing field, like the European central banks printing, and Australia, New Zealand, they're all printing like crazy. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, 50. This has been quite the 50-year ride. And then ever since this, the U.S. dollar went off of the gold standard, it just seems like it's just been, do whatever you want, print as much as you want, and see what happens. And if it wasn't for the fact that we're the reserve currency of the world, where would the U.S. dollar be right now? I just don't see it really lasting that long. And we'll see how we'll see how the bill goes up as we print 3-point-something trillion more dollars. See how that works out.
So how do you guys feel about, well, based on what James said, and I think we covered this before, but James said something, like, if you're holding a lot of cash right now, you're a sucker, because basically your money is being devalued right in front of your eyes, right? And I agree with that. But what would you say to someone that is sitting on a lot of cash right now because they're waiting for a dip? But if a dip never comes, then they're just seeing their buying power decrease and decrease and decrease while all the assets go up. So what do you guys say to someone like that wants to get in but feels like everything is high, including Bitcoin and crypto and real estate and stocks and businesses? Like, what would your suggestion be to them?
Well, I know people have been waiting 6 years for a dip in Bitcoin. It's always too expensive. And then it's so funny, you like when Bitcoin went under 30K, I was texting some of my close friends that have been waiting the longest time to get in. And I was like, now is the time. Now is the time. You missed all the other runs. Now is the time. Go for it. Not one bought. And then it goes to nearly 50,000. Then they text me back and say, oh, am I too late? It's like, I did a session earlier today, and I talked about the lizard brain and how humans are designed, like lizards, like the prehistoric dinosaurs, and we are trained to keep things safe.
Right.
And safety in today's world is money. And we don't want to put our money, our cash, at risk. And this is why people hesitate to jump into things like Bitcoin or buy a stock or even sell a stock. So they can't do two things. One, they can't buy at the right time. And when they do buy, then they can never let go and sell. And this is the weird amygdala, the brain or whatever that we have from millions of years ago. So it's funny to watch.
No, it's the same thing here. Like everybody on this panel and everybody watching the show right now, we've gotten around that some way, shape, or form to figure out that, all the money is made when everything slumps down. We got to buy the dip. And when everything goes, that's when I have to get it, even though it still hurts and it's still hard. But I guarantee you, everybody who's watching the show right now, they've got people asking them that same question that James's friend asked him, because I just got this asked a couple of days ago. So here's a good thing. The real estate agent, the one that bought the condo in Puerto Rico. So we were in Puerto Rico. We're sitting down with them. We were changing over utilities, and I told him, I go, hey, there's one thing you got to do, because I know you wanted to get into crypto. I need you to buy Cardano. And he goes, you know what? There's another guy down here. He's a really young guy. He's a hedge fund manager, makes millions of dollars. He told me the exact same thing. I go, are you going to buy it? Yes. I talked to him today. Did you buy it, Vic? Oh man, I forgot. And you know what? I'm just waiting for it to go. I'm like, geez Louise, we give people all these gifts, and they just shoo them out of the way. It's amazing to me.
But back, George, to your question, the way you can help people fix their cash problem, there's no problem holding on to cash, because I'm in a big cash position right now as well, because I've gone a little bit bearish from the stock market perspective. But what you do is say, hey, listen, just takes 5, 10, maybe 20% as per Ray Dalio, Bitcoin hedge. And then you can hold your cash. At least you got something to offset it when your cash does debase at 15% per year. So that's kind of... that's how the hedge funds are doing it. And that's the type of lesson that individuals should take too. So if you are sitting on a bunch of cash waiting to buy your first house or whatever, hedge it. Just hedge a bit of it. Worst case scenario, Bitcoin goes back to 30,000. Okay. So you lose 30% of your money, but it's not going to be down there for long. So it's just a temporary outage. Everybody knows, everybody you talk to, the smartest people, even the people who hate Bitcoin, they know it's going to $100,000, which is only a double from here, but still. Not bad.
I suppose. Would you, George and James, would you guys buy any kind of any kind of properties right now with the price the way they are? And would you be dollar cost averaging in as things go up?
Last time I bought real estate was February, so and it seems like a lifetime ago, but the market has exploded since then. But no, I would not be buying property right now.
Yeah, I've been sitting and waiting, like I'm in the opposite, like people that are waiting to get into crypto. I've been waiting to get into real estate, but I'm still watching, because a lot of the home listings that I've been watching, I get sent like 100 of them every day from like Redfin, and I got this MLS listing that's being sent to me, and I'm starting to notice that the home prices are coming down. The ones that haven't sold already, they're starting to come down. So it makes me think that it could go down more. But I don't want to become like the guys that you guys just talked about the ones waiting for crypto to go down more before buying in, So still keeping my eye and trying to time it right.
Sounds good.
All right. So what else is going on? We talked about Cardano. Cardano obviously had a big rise this week and continues to rise. Solana, I'm actually offended, Rob, because I also like Solana, but that's okay.
George, every time, when I listen to you, it's all about these F2 pools and these people and you got to watch out. Yeah. So I believe you probably talked about Solana. I just heard it on James and Mike.
Solana is up tremendously today, and I was talking with James before the show. Really, no reason, nothing big that was announced today, other than Solana is just a great project, and it's time for it to pump. There's really no other explanation. Is there any other protocols that you guys view is as good as, say, Cardano or Ethereum or Solana, one that you haven't really talked much about before, or maybe you just discovered recently? I'm just curious.
Not recent, but Solana became my third biggest position today. My third biggest was Aave before that. But you guys know I love Aave, Solana, and Chainlink.
Yeah.
Although Chainlink has not been the best performer lately compared to everything else. My crypto portfolio is up 83% over the past 6 or 7 weeks, and Chainlink is only up 60%. So it's a real laggard, but people are funny as well, as a joke. It's like when somebody has something that's only up 50% in 4 weeks or 6 weeks, they seem very disenfranchised, like it's the end of the world. But this is very, very strange, very strange times we are living in. It's basically exponential times. It's probably a good way to refer to it. And people need to adjust that this is not normal and not sustainable. It's going to be a great bull run, but don't expect this to continue forever.
No, nothing continues forever, right? Yeah. I think for the ones that the next platforms that I see that'll be big is, of course, World Mobile Token, one that's built on Cardano, Africa, trying to give digital IDs and telecommunications and all those things. They've already got a working product. That's one. But the other one that I like that looks pretty good with a great team is Avalanche. And I think it's because of, if you look at the CEO and the founder, he was one that also worked on Bitcoin in the beginning. He was also has an academia type of background, throughputs per second. I think 4,500 or 45,000. It's one of those two. My brain's a little jumbled today, but that on top of the fact that they're going for public and private blockchains, and I think that's kind of like it's. I know some people don't like that whole part about the private blockchains, but there are some corporations that, or maybe even government agencies that may not want all their information out there on the internet. So I think if they go both of those, it'll be a pretty good thing.
Avalanche is interesting. I don't know if things changed, but like a month ago or a few months ago, I saw Avalanche formed a partnership with this other project called Frontier. And Frontier was tasked to do some major things, like to come out with a DeFi marketplace or AMM, I should say, a DEX. They would go bring on like native token staking, and there was like a few things that I'm like, wow, why would you task another project to help you do when I think you should do yourself, right? I don't know. Did you notice that, Rob? Did you pick up on that? Unless things have changed.
No, I haven't really seen so much about that, but I agree with you in part because on some level you want everything to be done in house. However, if you look at some of the bigger companies that kind of just want to accelerate things, they'll just pick pieces for people who are better at whatever they are doing and go, we want you to do that, and we're going to simulate you. Worked pretty well for Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp, and as they absorb every type of social media platform, it's a little bit different, but you catch my drift. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I have Avalanche in my retirement portfolio, and that model that I was building, with the crypto reg risk, it came out real ugly. So absolutely got slated by the model. So the model is designed to identify risk and centralization and inflation rates, but the inflation rate's over 70%. The leadership team have a huge piece in their own pockets. A lot of red flags there as well. So that's been dinged. Plus, it has not been performing well, which might be in line with the inflation. So I call it dumpage when a lot of tokens are continually dumped on the market, keeping the price down. I see a little bit of that happening at Avalanche. So it is a great project, but it has some really, really crummy tokenomics and structure.
That reminds me, token economics. Like, this is random. It has nothing to do with Avalanche, but there was a project back in 2017. I believe it was called R Chain. I don't know, Rob.
I remember it.
You remember them? But it was supposed to be like a really promising protocol, and they were pumping up at that time too, like really, really high, and people were like jumping in and saying it's the next Cardano or whatever. And then I remember in 2018 when things started coming down, they had a town hall meeting with the founders, and it was like a big thing that was broadcasted on YouTube. And then they talked about how they spent their money, and it was shocking. It was shocking that they were contracting out most of the development work. And I think at that time they said, okay, we have like 50 million in our treasury, but they were spending like $10 million a month on development costs. I'm like, okay, you do the math. That's only 5 months of leeway that you have. And someone in the audience even said, oh, what are you going to do when you run out of money? And one of the founders like, oh yeah, we're going to go put up our homes. We're going to mortgage them and use that money. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Why would anyone be in this company? But yeah, sometimes you have some brilliant people or projects that just does really well, but you don't really know how they manage their money, or it could relate to their token economics just being a mess, But
yeah, and there's a lot of that, and that's what I discovered after doing about 20 deep dives. That it all really boils down to the management team, how much they line their pockets, and the tokenomics and inflation rates and centralization and all these factors. And that's where I really slate cryptos if they don't fit that, blockchain tenet, which I believe is core, like decentralized and egalitarian and stuff like that, then I'm just not interested. Don't play. So Avalanche is a very scary one now for me. I still hold it, but I'm going to look at maybe just ditching it and sticking the money into Solana. So
probably not. You can't go wrong with Solana.
Yeah, even at $55.
Yeah, so I pulled on my portfolio here, James, just so I could compare. But my 30 days is pretty comparable, a little bit lower. It was at 80%, and then it just came down. But 76% last 30 days. I mean, this is a simple portfolio, but this is like, just like what we all been talking about. You get people to buy low in DCA and HODL, and you'll be rewarded with like 70 or 80% gains within like a month. That is just amazing if you think about it compared to anything else out there, right? There's nothing else that gets you this kind of performance. It's shocking how much you can make, but also at the same time, how fast people get used to it too. Because if they don't start saying that, they're like, what's wrong? Why is Matic not going up? Why is Solana not going up? Why is Cardano not going up? Right? It's like, chill. It just went up like 100% the week before. It's not going to go up 100% every single week.
Yeah.
Right?
And things can fall just as fast as well. That's what people need to remember.
Someone is saying, okay.
And not only that, like, look at this. We're at like a $2 trillion market cap. Like some of these cryptos, I hate to say it, they're not worth what their market cap is. Yeah. And if you look at like real businesses and companies that actually produce real products, they are a fraction of what these cryptos are, and they don't do anything. This is all speculation. And so everybody out there, this is just investment opinion, not investment advice, and be careful.
And I have a new one, Rob, as well, from Rob and George. Nice. Because I'm not gonna say anything bad about any project anymore. All I'm gonna do is point to numbers, and then you guys can make your own decisions. Yeah. Because I have no dog in any fight. I just invest for maximum return. Period. So that's my foray. I look at the numbers and nothing else.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious that the market cap evaluations of crypto is way, way, way off. So whenever you compare it to other projects within crypto, it's fine. You can make a comparison. But when you try to make a comparison to a publicly traded company, it's way, way off. It's not even close.
But also, and contrary to that, though, I must say, there are some cryptos that are very undervalued based on market caps. So I look at relative market caps. If you compare the market cap of, say, Ethereum to Cardano to Solana, there's a big outlier there.
But you're comparing to each other. You're not comparing to a non-crypto company, right?
Exactly. But I can very easily justify the market cap of Ethereum, no problem. I can justify 3 times the market cap of Ethereum, no problem. The question is, why is Ethereum 32 times larger than Solana? That makes me think Solana is undervalued. So that's my whole thesis of getting in there in the first place. If they get 10% market share of what Ethereum does, they're already running billion-dollar projects like USDC and stuff. They're tokenizing equities in Europe. They can do so much more. So it's just beginning. That's where I see the big value. So not everything is overvalued. There are gems to be found, but you got to dig.
So both of you, George and James, would you guys ever just start to rebalance your portfolio and go, you know what, I'm pretty heavy? Because I said that, George, I saw you're pretty heavy Ethereum. Maybe you'd say, you know what, maybe I'm going to do something else, put 10% back into something. Would you ever do that? Or when do you do that? If you do that?
I do that. It's usually when something really outperforms.
Yeah.
That's what I rebalance. Not so much if it's underperforms, because then I tend to just DCA into that if I still think it's a good project. So it's more when, if Cardano like just runs up from here to $10 and it's just really eating up a vast majority of my portfolio now, then I would say, I would want to take profits and rebalance into something else. So that's what I would do.
That makes sense. I hope you're right.
Yeah, and I've done a bit of that already. So I got rid of my BNB, got rid of HBAR and a couple of other names I won't mention in case I make myself unpopular, and plowed them into things like Aave and Solana. So what I try and do is always optimize the portfolio for basically risk, because I've become extremely risk averse with all this regulatory stuff. So I want to go more into more decentralized projects that are kind of more mature with really good use cases with a lot of upside. And when I flirt with some other names and they're up over 100%, 150%, then it's time to lighten the load there and put it back to safety. So that's my whole game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. Same here.
What do you guys think about games now, especially NFT games? They are really, really hot now. It seems like especially led by Axie Infinity, which has been on fire. But there's a lot of NFT game, play-to-earn games that have done really well recently. Are you guys into those? Are you buying it? Or are you thinking, no, it's too hyped up at this point?
Well, I have a confession to make. I've never played a video game, so I don't know anything about video games. But I can, but I can tell you, what I can relate to is the sports franchises linked to NFTs. That is powerful. So the stuff that Theta is doing with One, for example,
Yeah,
that's huge. And we're taking a big deep dive into Theta right now. And regarding the NFT space, I do own Engine Coin. Axis Infinity is fantastic. I dug into it deep. I love the way they structure that whole game and the way they monetize it. But I need to understand the space before I invest. So I couldn't tell you. One thing I do know about games that gives me concern is kids have very short attention spans. So if they are playing a game, they might get bored within 3 weeks. So a project might be hot for 3 or 4 weeks or a month or two, and then they move on to some new thing. So do you think that's possible with things like Axie and others? Will there be an Axie killer one day?
I guess it just depends on the game. Like my grandson, he plays Fortnite quite a bit, and it's been for quite a long time. And Fortnite's been around for a long time. And then look at like World of Warcraft and those types of games. They've stood the test of time, I think, for quite a long. The big ones that James is talking about is, if you look at the small little games that you can download on the app stores, then yeah, those things don't really work out. But I like the whole identity or the idea of being able to transfer between games, if you could, like with an Engine Coin or whatever else, and take the value off and then actually sell it. But as far as like that, I'm not even near an expert in the gaming industry. But it is interesting to see that is actually, I don't want to say it's not a real world use case, but it's a real use case, and people are actually using it right now. And it's actually nice. I can't even say tangible. It's not tangible, but it's actually there for people to actually gain value from. So in that regard, it's a winner.
And there's a name on your screen that I own as well that I bought a couple of weeks ago, 25 cents. Guess which one?
Chili's.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
so that's going to the Ishcoin casino. So I'm even playing with these things now, which is kind of scary. So
Chili's is, I mean, when you mention sports clubs, right, or sports in general, you have to look at Chili's, and they're starting to get into American teams too. I know in the NBA pretty hard, and there's rumors about getting in the NFL too. And the funny thing is, these are all just tokens, and you could trade them, but they're not actually like NFT stuff. It's not like coming out with NFT cards or players yet or teams, which could definitely come down the road. But they're definitely in that space. But in regards to games, I think Rob said it best. There's a lot of games that has stayed around for quite some time. People get very, very addicted to it. It's not even really for kids anymore. It's just a lot of adults play World of Warcraft and others. And I think it's a beautiful way to tie into NFTs, because everything that you hear right now about NFTs is like celebrity endorsements and selling some kind of collectible thing that are going for millions of dollars. But, those are like kind of I would say, not the norm, because most people in the space is not doing that. But when you have a really addictive game and people are playing to collect the items or land or whatever, it just makes more sense, that it would do well and it will continue to go up. So.
Yeah, and then George, look at there was a snippet about a band called Kings of Leon. They put out their own album, and it was an NFT, and it sold like millions of dollars worth in like no time flat. And what's great about that is they're not sharing that with the record company. They're not sharing that with a bunch of other people. They're just with the band and maybe their managers.
Yep,
exactly.
Yep. So what else is there? Well, there's several other projects, but I think we talked about this. I mean, Dogecoin, I feel compelled to talk about it because it's up 15%. And of course, Mark Cuban and Elon
pumping
out and the strongest medium exchange out there. But here's the thing. What's interesting is I covered this because Mark tried to spread some FUD about Bitcoin, saying, well, it can't ever be a serious medium exchange or something like that along those lines, because 2,500 wallets control 40% of the supply. Yet when someone responded to him saying, well, only 10 wallets for Doge controls 40% of the supply, how come you don't have a problem with that? And of course, he doesn't answer.
Yeah, he's new to the space. He's still learning. Give him a chance. Give him another 3 or 4 years. He'll be fine. And after him getting ripped off is kind of a little bit of
iron finance.
Yeah. So
But are you guys fans of Polygon? Because he is very invested in Polygon.
Yeah, and that's moved really nicely over the last week or 10 days, I think, since we last spoke. It's kind of funny because I've noticed that a lot of the cryptos that were lagging behind really accelerated last week. And even like the last one to move is Algorand, and that's been pumping the last couple of days too. I think I told somebody yesterday or the day before, it's like, so what should I buy? What should I buy? I said, well, the only one that hasn't moved yet is Algorand. And let me see what it's doing right now, because I do like that project as well. Oh my God. I'm not even going to say what Solana just did. I'm too much of a Solana fanboy, but it is insane. It's about to break an all-time high. It is $1 away from an all-time high, 55.51, 55. So, but let's check on Algo, because I love the Algo project, and it's still kind of languishing right now, but that's a $2 token right now at 98 cents. That's going to double real soon, I believe. Yeah, the tokenomics is not perfect, but it's not that bad either.
Yeah.
What do you feel about like Algorand and several others are very how do I put it? It is very high up on Charles Hoskinson's like ladder. Like he talks about like Algorand and several others often because of their technical nature, and maybe he's friends with the leadership. Do you put any weight to that or no?
I don't actually. I'll probably get some hate for this. I don't follow what Charles says, but there's a couple of things that are a little bit. There's a lot of positives with Algorand, but a couple of risks as well. Is they seem to be too fragmented and not focused enough, which is common for many projects. They kind of, oh, well, we couldn't get this vertical to work, so let's play with vaccine passports and stable coins and real estate and NFTs. So I wish they'd stick in their swim lane right now. Also, there's going to be some tokens released, which is probably suppressing price, about 9 billion tokens. But apart from that, the technology is outstanding. So, and I know Charles knows his technology, so that could be a good thing.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll see like just how it was, back in the heyday of the internet. You would just see like one huge company absorb another company, then absorb another one. Maybe this is what'll happen in the future. We'll have blockchains that do one thing, and the other ones say, we should partner up. And there's an acquisition. Before you know it, they become twice as powerful.
That's already happening. Hermes, Polygon. So that already went down, and it's so funny. You have to joke. It's like, so if these blockchains are decentralized, how did they ever meet to merge? It's like comical. It's like, no.
Do Hermes have a vote? Like, how did they just agree to this? That's what I'm wondering.
Some back alley deal with brown envelopes, I guess. It's strange. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of funny, but that could bring about some ire or scrutiny as well from regulators one day. Right. Who knows? That's kind of the concern.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so besides Doge and Mark and Algorand, any other projects? Because we got about 12 minutes, 13 minutes. Any other project you guys want to talk about that we haven't talked about yet?
We can talk about the week ahead, but I'm very impressed with the move that Cardano made last week, and all the other stuff is kind of fun to play with. But I'm very interested in. I actually made a guess. I wouldn't have been surprised if I saw Bitcoin break 50,000 this weekend. So we have 6 hours left because I'm in Pacific time. So we'll see what it does. But this thing can move fast, and everything looks really strong. All the spidey feelings, everything is kind of on the edge, and there's very low volumes, which means any small injection of capital makes it spike pretty fast. So that's kind of interesting to watch. So when is your assessment of when Bitcoin will break 50,000? Why don't we do a little round the table wager here? That's always fun.
That's always fun. That's always guesstimations.
No, it's not guestimations, not at all.
Not for you, James.
Well, yeah,
no.
James he's always right.
we're so close. No, nobody's always right at all. But we're so close. I mean, sometimes you go to bed like at midnight and you wake up at 3 a.m. and you check your chart. It's like, oh, there we are. 2,500, 2,000 points is all it needs to move, which is nothing for Bitcoin. Yeah. So I'm wondering, is tonight the night?
No, I don't I mean, look, 47.5 to go up that much in one night, especially like a Sunday, because usually like we'll see weekends were the original dips, and now of course it becomes the Mondays and Tuesdays. I mean, we've been going up pretty fast. There has to be a little bit of a retracement, but didn't we say this last week? Didn't we all say this last week? Like next week was going to be a little bit of a pullback, and it was a great week, and we touched almost 2.1 trillion.
Well, technically we were half right, Rob. If you look at last week, it did take a breather. It came in a little bit late. So we had that beautiful dip. What was it on 11th?
On the 11th, going down
11th and 12th. Those days are very weak, and that was the time to swoop in. But I was surprised about how it blew back so fast. Like Bitcoin went from 44K straight to nearly 48K in a few hours, like 12 hours. That was stunning. So it could happen again. So I also have this theory that the digital yuan is really hitting China hard. The local Chinese know it's coming, but the high net worth and middle class Chinese are looking for a hedge. So they're scrambling to find creative ways to sock away their cash into Bitcoin right now. So Sundays used to be kind of a weekday, but I think it could be strong right now. And I have a feeling that the Chinese are trying to buy Bitcoin because they know that they don't want a digital yuan. They know they're going to have to live with it, but they don't want some way of keeping their assets secure. What do you guys think?
Not only that, keep it secure, but keep the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, out of their wallets as best they can. And if they can't do that, then it'll be just even more control. So yeah, if you could, but that's just it. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on over there. So if they can make that happen, amazing. But it seems like the government has this iron fist, and it's like this is how it's going to be, and that's how it is.
Yeah, there's a great super chat in there from RRFF, and I know him, and he's super cool. Did you read that one, George?
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
So
why don't you go look at outside top 50?
So in full disclosure, I own 3 cryptos outside the top 50. So between 50 and 100, I own 3. So I do dabble out there, and I have also analyzed the top 100 with the Matrix. So you're going to see more. If I can identify sleepers that are worth a pop, you guys will be the first to know. But it takes a lot of digging. That's why I'm trying to build a scalable model to identify them quickly. Basically disqualify them first and then identify positives so we can jump in and do a deeper dig. So Scotty, we'll check out Scotty as well, or is that Cody? Cody.
Cody is
Cody.
Their payment app. Their ADA Pay is based off of Cody.
Oh, it's another ADA ecosystem play. There's so many of those right now, and everybody's asking me to look into them because I guess everybody feels the ADA ecosystem plays are about to pounce once ADA's pounced. Is that the whole idea?
Well, yeah, I think just like BNB once it came into play, and you could do DeFi on it. Now with smart contracts in play, and I think the ecosystem should blow up. I could be wrong, but it worked out pretty well for Binance Coin.
Yes. This week, it's one of those things like we kind of said we had kind of anticipated a pullback, and maybe we did have a slight pullback, but it's one of those things that we're like, okay, if we're wrong, great, because the market went out, right? So it's like, who cares? But I anticipate that we will hit 50K this week. May not be tonight or tomorrow, but I have a feeling we'll go hit it. And after we break through, there's very little stopping Bitcoin to go to 60,000. I mean,
it's fresh air to 65. There's no sell walls. And I'm looking at, when I look at Bitcoin, there's a beautiful ascending wedge, which means it's got to pop one way or the other. And the way it's ascending, it looks like it's going to pop upwards. So that's what I'm feeling. The next 48 hours, we should be at 50K. What do you say, Rob? Putting you on the spot now.
I don't.
And we want a kidney. A kidney is the wager.
Yeah, I got 2. It's okay. So to hit 50 in 48 hours, I'm going to go a little longer. I'm going to say hopefully end of the week, barring any crazy story that comes out about something wacky. Who knows? Super bearish. But yeah, I think end of the week. Why not? I mean, it's what surprised me was that, we had all the problems with the infrastructure bill and the poly network or whatever it was, the big $600 million hack, and the market still went up. So I'm like, well, this must be us retouching bull territory, because that wouldn't have happened, 2 months ago.
Did you say 50,000 next 4 hours or 48 hours? Did I miss something?
48 hours.
Okay.
That's my.
Okay, I thought you said
So
4 hours.
basically, give me till midnight Tuesday night.
Okay. And you know what? You know what's going to happen? All of us are going to get calls. Hey, Bitcoin has hit 50,000. Should I get in now?
No, but it's only a couple of percentage points away, so it's nothing. It's a 4%, and it can do that pretty quickly.
Sorry, James. So here's my question: if Bitcoin hits 50,000, where do the alts go? Because it seems like it goes Bitcoin, Ethereum, alts.
Well, there's been a big disconnect in the way things move right now. Everything has its own track, which is actually very good for traders. Because in the past, Bitcoin used to pump and then the rest would follow. Like Ethereum would follow almost instantaneously. Now they're disconnected. And I'm only going back 2 months, and they were kind of tied at the hip, literally. Now they have their own swim lanes, which is great. And if you look at at least the top 20 that I look at and invest in, and I know their charts intimately, no two are in sync. And that is something very different in this market. I think they've become so big that they need their own capital injections to move them. And gone are the days where little dollars would move a lot of crypto a long way. Those days are over, especially for the big boys.
You know, that's interesting. I have that same theory too. It's like the dollar amount is so high now. I mean, in terms of market cap, you need so much money to come in. So I always say things come in rotations or waves. And I don't think it's a surprise that say yesterday, XRP was pumping for really no apparent reason. And then all of a sudden it kind of just completely stopped. And now that money seems to have flown into, say, Doge or Solana, because there's really no real reason to pump them up either. So it seems like money is like kind of rotating between these big cap projects, and it could be basically throwing things off so that they're kind of decoupling from Bitcoin in a way, you know, because we've been seeing more of that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Just it's hard to prove that, but it just always seems like, things come in rotations and waves, right? Not everything moves at the same rate anymore.
No, exactly. It's very, very good because it gives people time. What I found very effective as well, because I'd watch things happen, and it's only a matter of time before the next thing actually pounces. So you can use that as an opportunity. For example, back in the day, it was Ethereum would move first and then Sol would follow. Now it's the other way around. So it's everything is changing, which is good. It means we have to keep on our toes and stay sharp.
So here's a good one. So a lot of people are wondering, okay, what to put their money into. So if let's say you had $1,000, and I hate answering like if you had to pick one, but if you had to pick one, would you put it into Bitcoin, or would you put it into, say, Solana or Cardano or something else?
Well, right now, when I look at all of the risk, all of the tokenomics, all of the market caps, all of the use cases, all of the upside, the project I am most bullish on and have been since day one is Solana. And I think that thing could 5x this bull cycle, which means it could easily go to $250.
What about this week? What about just this week?
Oh, this week. I mean, we've just gone from 44 a few hours ago to 57 now.
Right.
That's a huge move. That's 35%. So this week, if I had to make money to buy food for the end of the week, I'd look for a laggard that hasn't pounced yet. I go back to Algorand, even though the tokenomics suck. But I think a lot of investors are out there looking. It's like, oh my god, everything's pumped. What hasn't pumped yet? And they look at the charts and they'll say, "Ooh, this is way off the all-time high." So that's the way I used to 30 years ago, look at stocks, is find out which ones were furthest away from the recent all-time highs and use them to buy if they were still good quality names. So some people might be using that type of strategy as well. So that's a good method for you guys. Pull down a Google sheet, put in your select cryptos, put in the all-time high, put in the current price, and do the deltas and find the ones that are going to gap next.
So you're picking Algorand.
Well, I'm saying that one hasn't moved yet. Give me 1 second and I'll find you guys one. Not financial advice, of course. Investment opinion.
Well, while you're researching, Rob, you have one off the top of your head that you think will do really well this week?
Gosh, it's like it's one of those things where I always talk about whatever your goals are, right? If your goals are not to lose your shirt, or you just want to like just make a quick little bit of money and you want to be safe, then it's probably like a little bit of a Bitcoin. And even though it's $1,000, because you want to be super safe, right? Because there's people who are super safe like me, and people who are gamblers like my friend Alex Mascioli. But anyhow, if you could do something like that, sure. But if you really want to make some money, like James was talking about, I mean, Algorand is something, but everything is kind of pumped right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted
That's
to
what
get,
makes it hard, because everything has pumped.
Yeah, here's the thing. Everything is pumped right now. So you can still make a little money, but not so much. If you really want to make money, you got to look at the outside the top 100, and you start to just go down a little bit more, and maybe a little bit more riskier. I know it's not the sexiest answer, but it is what it is. I hate to say it, but what is today? The 15th?
15th.
So mark this. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Cardano smart contracts are coming down the pipe in what? Like another month or so?
33 days, I think.
33 days, right.
Yeah.
So in between that time, we always talk about buy the rumor, sell the news. I think the price will still go up. Will it go up as much as like a Solana or something like that? I have no idea. But I think the narrative around it will push the price up regardless. So if I had to pick one, jeez. Yeah, I'd probably just go. Actually, you know what? I would probably go Voyager.
I was gonna say,
and I'm gonna go Voyager because that token swap starts tomorrow, and then we got after that comes the loyalty program. So I would go that route. If you're just looking for
and I found
appreciation, huh? Yeah, what'd you get?
Chainlink. So Chainlink has the overall best risk profile, most upside. I see Chainlink at $26 going to $40 pretty quick. So that one is where I would go for least downside, most upside from where it is today. Not Algorand. Yep.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh, we have a Chainlink hater. Oh my God, George, tell us.
Chainlink is like a blue chip. It doesn't really move that fast.
Oh, it does. That'll go to $40 in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Mark my words, everybody. You heard it here first. Not financial advice.
You know what? You're saying like we should do like a wager. We should do that every week and just pick out a coin that we think will do the best the next week, and then that'll be a good thing to look at. So you're going with Chainlink, right? And Rob is going with Voyager still.
Oh, you know what, George? I will say this: if I was outside the United States, you know what I put it all into? I would put in a world mobile token but I can't do it because I'm in the States. So that's it.
Well, this is a friendly wager. You could still say it, if you really believe that it's going to be the best for this week.
Oh, not this week. No, it's going to be Voyager.
You know what I'm choosing? I'm going to choose something that is that relates to a project I like, VeChain, but not VeChain itself, but their secondary token, VThor token. Oh, yeah. And they're at 135 right now, so they're relatively small. But the reason why is because VeChain is having a lot more transactions these days due to NFT plays. And unlike Ethereum, where you're just using ETH for everything, for gas and stuff, or VeChain, you have to use VThor to pay for gas. So it has been doing very well. I think it'll continue to do well. So I'm going to choose VThor token. So that's my pick. All right. So I guess you know what? After the stream, I'll write that down, and next week we'll compare and see who won. But I think we're all in agreement that this week is looking pretty bright, right? We're all thinking Bitcoin's going to hit 50,000, and altcoins should continue to rally. Is that the consensus?
Yeah. Can I change my vote?
What?
I found another one.
Okay.
Kusama. It's one. I'm digging into Theta and Kusama right now. Yeah. And that looks really, really, really good.
Kusama makes more sense because they're still doing their parachain auctions. Yeah. And but come on. No, you can't be changing it. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay. Chainlink will still do well. and I have a big chaining position, but Kusama is one that I found very interesting, and it came out through the model with flying colors as well, just like Theta. So it can identify losers and winners pretty quickly.
All right. Yeah. Well, I think that's it. I mean, any closing thoughts? I mean, we pretty much kind of talked about next week. Any closing thoughts that you guys want to share?
Yeah, I think from a macroeconomic perspective, things aren't looking very good at all. So I'm not going to talk about Afghanistan or Delta or shipping or supply chain problems, but that's a concern. So the question is, if the stock markets do tank, will it pull down crypto? So everybody be ready for that too. That's possible, not probable.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not so good. I don't see how the stock market can tank and we can't, because there's too many institutional players here and they're dabbling all over the place, like I've always said. And when people will tell me, Rob, you don't get it, they're never going to sell. Okay, sure. Yeah. They're not here to change the world. They're here to make a profit. And that's what it comes down to. So just be careful out there. And nobody ever went broke taking profits. That's all I'll tell you.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. Great to see you, and great to see everybody out there as well in the Cryptoverse. And thank you for being here. And George, thank you for having us. And
thank
Rob,
you, George.
Honey and tea, buddy. Get well soon. Get some sleep too. Okay.
I'm good. Thanks, guys. See you all.
All right, guys. Bye. Until next week. Take care. Bye-bye.